Welcome back, guys. JMO has been going to town just figuring out like all the accessories and all the plumbing for the motor. There's a lot more than honestly I thought was gonna be going on. But look what's going down now, you guys. It is time.
We're gonna fit this thing in here to make sure that our oil pan and everything clears and that everything fits properly. We are a little bit nervous about the oil pan and the steering rack. We are a little bit nervous about the oil pan and the steering rack. So we got this aftermarket pan, and hopefully it's enough to clear. It's also 2 more quarts than factory, or 2.5 more quarts.
Yeah, so if you guys watch some of the older build episodes, and I'll stop shouting those out kind of once we really get rolling on here, but we used a RB25 Neo as the mock-up motor, and that's how we made the engine mounts, put the C009 in, made the transmission mounts, so everything was kind of built off of that. And then we just got stalled out waiting for the final motor. So we really don't know what's gonna happen. Hoping it fits.
Well, it's also an
inch
taller.
Yeah.
Or an 1.5 inches taller, so.
Yeah, you trimmed, so in the past this was kind of getting in the way, so Joe trimmed this back. But let's see what happens. Just kidding, you guys thought it was gonna go all the way in. We gotta check engine mounts. We got through everything, which is awesome, and didn't scratch the back of the heads, so I'm super pumped on that. I mean, we're in. An intake manifold looks like it's gonna clear really well. Exhaust manifold clearance is awesome, huh, dude? Like, oh. Yeah, we're still waiting on that. It's on some plane or boat somewhere in the middle of the ocean. I keep checking the freaking updates. And they're like, oh, March 22nd to April.
Wouldn't it be cool if it had
12th.
like a GPS location? You could just watch it come across the ocean.
Yo, guys, we should put the little, like, you know, the little trackers that they have for like keys and stuff? They should start doing that in shipments. This, we're done. I'm done YouTubing.
No, yeah, but then all of the companies couldn't blame for stuff being late.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is kind of where we're at. Obviously the motor needs to tilt this way, but we're pretty dang close.
Can you guys see it under here? I don't know. There you go. Those engine mounts are sick. Look at this thing. We built this so long ago. God.
Yeah. They're pretty beefcake.
They're so sick. Look at the freaking plating on it. All right, well, we're making moves. We're getting there. We're gonna get both these engine mounts kind of screwed in, and then we'll get all these hauls off and check it out. It's in!
That's what she said.
Can we start it up? Can we start?
Fire it up.
Give her a crank, dude. Oh my god, it looks so crazy. Oh my god. Just so you guys know, like, these are all genuine reactions. This is the first time we've had it in there. Like, yeah, so if it...
That you
If you guys are wondering, this is literally the first time we've seen it in here. You guys are seeing it with us.
Let me make it more fancy.
Oh, it looks freaking crazy.
I'm gonna make it more fancy.
Couple of small issues. Well, kind of, I don't know if it's small or big.
So the clearance between the oil pan and the cross member is not enough to clear these little nubbins. So
You know, we were talking, and I was like, they made this oil pan for RBs, and I'm like, why doesn't it fit? Seems like a design flaw in my opinion. We were actually thinking about calling them up and being like, hey, so we got your guys' oil pan. We just got the motor in, it does not fit. And then they're like, what chassis is it in? And be like, a Tacoma. and just like just act like
Totally serious.
totally like so serious, and they'll
Oh,
be
we
like,
told you when we ordered it.
they'll be like, what do you mean a Tacoma? Well, I guess it's not. I mean, it's not major. I mean, this is a big step. Engine mounts fit. Motor's sitting on its own weight.
It's
What's
a
the
little
next step?
taller. It is a little taller than it was.
It is taller. Yeah, it's kind of cool though. I kind of like it. So where do we go next with this thing?
I gotta try and get this power steering to work somehow. I might be shaving down things and cutting stuff off and.
Oh god. Well, yeah, we got the power steering rack back in, and then keep jamming.
All right, everyone, time for a little update on the Tacoma. I have been working on this thing day after day, trying to get small stuff figured out. We had a couple of issues with the exhaust fitting, which we got. As you can see here, it's gotten a little scratched up from me trying to get it fitted, but this is a super nice 6-boost Pro Mod, basically way forward mount turbo manifold, and it's built specifically for the RB30 Neo head. It fits now, but a lot of cutting and moving of stuff was necessary to get it to fit, but it goes in there now. The turbo fits barely. So this thing was, you know, previously caged when we got it. So it's got a whole upper shock mount cage as well as a, you know, over engine cage here. But it fits now. The other issue that I had was fitting the oil pan. So this being a bigger oil pan and a galvanized steel pan, I marked it where it was contacting, sent it out to have somebody that could do a little bit better with the galvanizing. We got it back, and of course, it was slightly off. And it may have been because I didn't quite have the, you know, the transmission bolted on when I did my measurements and marked it. I had to go ahead and move the steering rack. So in moving the steering rack a ½ inch forward, it actually put the tie rods in a better position to where they're no longer contacting the springs. As you can see here, before they were contacting the springs fairly heavily, and that was more or less in full droop. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some stuff put back on the motor. This thing's gonna get ready to go get the exhaust built. All titanium. It's also gonna be all titanium intercooler piping, intake, everything titanium. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna start putting some stuff back on, and a little bit later I'll kind of show you where I had to notch the pan and how we had to notch the frame, or the upper shock mount to get the exhaust to fit. All right, so I'm gonna show you kind of what had to be notched. Wow, that's bright. On the oil pan to get it to fit, and what I had to do with the rack. So basically the crossover tubes had these big, huge nipples going in to the actual body, and they were contacting the pan pretty heavy. So the pan had to be kind of rounded up here in this spot, and here we had to notch the entire side out. Here, I actually moved the rack about a ½ inch forward on both sides to kind of get it to line up with those notches. So now what I have to do is kind of make a standoff so that there's some support underneath the rack itself. So I'm gonna use a couple of washers. I'm gonna weld them together, notch them so they fit, and then get them welded to the subframe here on both sides. And when I get this all apart, you'll see what I mean. It's what the factory did. They basically have like a standoff to raise the rack up a little bit. when moving the steering rack forward, I basically had to make more standoffs. So this is basically where I had to relocate the rack about a ½ inch. And that allows the pan to drop down right over those crossover tube fittings. Pain in the neck.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, my neck, my back.
But while I have this thing up, I'm gonna go ahead and show you where we had to notch the upper shock mount to fit the exhaust manifold. So right in here, we were having a bunch of contact right there. So that corner had to be notched out so it would clear. And I'll show you that as I get closer to mounting that manifold. So right now I'm gonna throw the steering rack back in. I'm gonna drop the motor back down onto the motor mounts, get those bolted up, get the manifold put on, and then I'll check back in.
Okay, so you guys are probably wondering if you saw that clip of JMO putting the turbo on, what even is that thing? It looks like the ones from the memes where they have like the baby going into it. If you guys know what I'm talking about. Comment below if you guys have seen that meme. I think it's like a Ferrari or something weird, and like the turbo is through the hood. I can't remember. Or no, it's not a Ferrari. It just looks like the F50 hood, but no, it's like some drag car. I don't know, but they're like feeding a baby to it. That is what we have pretty much. So it's a G42 1200. Here's JMO's phone next to it for size comparison. It is outrageous. It's good for like at least 1200 horsepower, and then as we said in the last video, we're also gonna have nitrous on top of that. So we're shooting for 1200 and shooting for usable power. This is a really big turbo, but it's also not like, it is technically a drag racing turbo, but it's not on that level where it's like the lag is gonna be like out of control. If we went bigger than that and went for even higher power with the inline six, I think it would just be kind of become undrivable off-roading. So I'm hoping this is kind of a sweet spot where we can still make really good peak power, but the lag isn't too crazy. And so the G series is like, I believe, a new series for Garrett, and they basically took the GTX and the GT series and just really went even crazier with them. So it's a whole new design on the turbine. It's more efficient, more power, all that. You guys can go to Garrett's website if you want to know more about that, because I am not a turbo expert. But it should make us a buttload of power. So JMO and I, neither of us know how to weld titanium, and we really don't want to ruin all this titanium by learning. So we're actually going to send this out to a local guy here that does some really good fab on a lot of off-road stuff actually. And so he's going to be doing all the titanium fabric on this thing. So that's going to take a couple weeks, but then we really should start being able to move along faster on this thing. But I don't know, this has become such a ridiculous adventure of a build, and it's all, honestly, the definitely impacted like getting parts, and it's just made it really, really rough for us. So I'm hoping that turns around. Shocks is literally the last thing we're waiting on. The motor, though, took months longer than expected. But if you guys are new to this channel, which almost all of you are since November, check out all our other old build videos on this stuff. You guys can see all the stuff we did. You know, kind of give us some feedback. Let me know what you guys like seeing more or less of. We film those differently than these videos, and so we're just kind of learning the best process. But this thing should pick up back soon here in like a month. Stay tuned. For now, check out all our other videos. Check out our how to drifts, our sim videos. We're posting a lot more vlogs, which are really cool. Reaction videos, so all sorts of cool stuff. Check all that out, and yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple days. Peace.